Hi guys, it's now the end of May, May 31st. It's been a busy month. I've gone and got myself some bees. I also spent the bank holiday weekend building pheasant runs, so I haven't been able to do an awful lot of work in the garden, and when I have, it's been stolen hours when it's not been hugely warm, which it has been. It's been over 30 degrees some days, and in the greenhouse you just can't be in here and work. It's like 45-50 degrees. See, I've been choosing my work hours carefully. It's also meant that I've been too tired and not been able to do an awful lot of filming, so I just thought I'd give you a quick tour now. This right here, my grapevine, doing really well. I'm thinking that I'm going to be training it up against the roof. I'm trying to keep it beside the front door here so it doesn't shade too many of the plants in the greenhouse. Right beside it I've got my subarctic plenty in a row at the front of the greenhouse. I've got marigolds. The other thing I've got dotted at the back is onion sets that I'd sprouted. I actually sprouted them because they were left over and I thought I might need spares. It turns out I didn't need spares because they all took in the border. So I planted them in here and I've been clipping off leaves off of them and then chopping them and using them like spring onions in salads and stuff. And beside my subarctic plenty, here I've got tomatoes, and then beside that I've got 2 pepper plants. These are California Wonder. I also put in a drip watering system which goes the whole way round. I've actually dug it down there already, but I would show you guys before I dig down the rest of it, because I'll be digging down all of it so that it doesn't spray water onto the tomatoes or the cucumbers. Obviously I don't want to get blight on the tomatoes and the cucumber. I know that they can be quite sensitive at the root, so the hose is far enough from the root of them. Here I've got 4 melon plants. This is the Minnesota Midget. The 2 at the front there were planted later, and the 2 at the back there were planted far earlier. They need staking. I don't know if any of them are going to thrive. I don't know if any of them are going to survive. Melon plants this year have not been a friend for me. Well, I've never grown anything from seed before, but I think in future melon plants are probably something that I'll buy as seedlings rather than try to grow my own, because they've been really difficult to germinate. In the centre here I've got more pepper plants. These are California Wonder as well. And then comes on to my cucumbers. The 2 large plants at the back there are called telepathy. They are normal, like large cucumbers, and then everything else is gherkins. This variety is called Hocus. Cucumbers have been something that I found very, very difficult to germinate, so maybe I just don't have the knack for it, because it's the same family as melons, isn't it? So maybe one of those things. But this is the second batch, because everything from the first batch of seedlings all froze to death with the -8 degrees one night. And then here at the end is more tomatoes. This is another cherry tomato variety called Romantica. Just one of the 3 varieties that were in the ones that I bought from the supermarket. And then at the end here is 3 aubergine plants. I don't know what varieties they are. They were in a mixed pack of seeds. Up here I've got seedlings still growing. The end there is my second sowing this year of salad. The first sowing's all planted out in the raised beds. There I've got some pansies. They were planted in March, I think, beginning or end of March. So they're not very impressive. Up here I've got my second sowing of dill as well. He's just started coming up there. And the first sowing, most of them are all planted out in the herb raised bed. It's not an awful lot else. Down here I've got my citrus tree plants. So the 4 here are grapefruit and the ones beside them are blood orange. They've all grown from seed I took out of fruit, so who knows what they're going to turn into. Over here I've got sage seedlings. They need potting on now because they've gotten so big. Beside them are basil. They're tiny, slow growing. And then at the bottom there I've got 2 watermelon plants. They'll be planted out as soon as I've gotten the bed ready for them. Out here on my table of things that need to be potted on or planted, here I've got 3 dahlia cuttings that I took. I've managed to root, I think out of maybe, I'm trying to think now, how many cuttings did I take? I think I probably took about 10 cuttings, maybe 8, 9, 10 cuttings, somewhere around there. I think about half of them rooted for me because I had no idea what I was doing. I did watch a few videos and kind of winged it from there. It's a learning curve and I'm just impressed that I got anything to root at all, to be honest. I think I've done really well this year. I've got another aubergine plant there and 2 more watermelon plants there. Again, they'll be planted in the bed as soon as I've prepared it. Got some mustard seed there growing as well. Over here I've got one of the dahlia tubers that I rooted during the early spring. It's now been planted out here. In this, because it's such a large container, and these are just dwarf dahlias. They're all the short variety, so I've put in one of my cuttings and another one there as well that I managed to root. In here I actually have some carrots that have started coming up. Around the edges I've also planted spring onion seedlings. This were the Brisbane something, I think they were called. Sorry, I don't remember, I have to look at my notes. In here my climbing beans are growing. They were direct sown. I did actually have some of these in the guttering, but they didn't survive. Over there, my crimson flowered broad beans are doing really well. You can actually see a crimson flower right there. There. Very pretty. In the centre though, I have on the left side I have kale, and in between it I have some of the lettuce. On the right side I have Swiss chard. It was direct sown as well, so it's slow going at the moment. In this raised bed I have my purple sprouting broccoli, and then in between I've got some lettuce plants. This is just a mixed bag of lettuce seeds. At the ends as well at the ends here I've got marigolds as well. I think I'm going to have to do something about this bed though, because there seems to be slug living in it, or some sort of pest seems to keep snacking on my lettuce in just this raised bed. Come on Meg, you're in the way. In this bed beside it, this is where my green broccoli is, if I can remember the name of it. And then again, in between, I've just got heads of lettuce. I have already had my first harvest of lettuce. I had a really nice salad with it. This next bed in the centre there, I've got more of the purple sprouting broccoli. This was the older stuff, my first sowing. That everything else kind of... This was the first sowing from spring. When everything else kind of froze to death, this stuff survived. So it's finally thriving out here. And then behind it, I've got 2 batches of dill. And then at that end is the blow chocker peas. And then at this end is sugar snap peas. It's time that I built a new support for them though, because they're getting too big for those hoops. Then in this raised bed is my Aaron Victory potatoes. That's a main crop potato. Up here, garlic is doing very, very well. The Vigor variety seems to be the most prolific at the moment, but I won't really know until it's time to harvest and see which ones do better with storage and things. So I'm thinking next year I'll probably just have 2 varieties of garlic, but I want to know which 2 are the best out of the ones that I've tried this year. In here is my other lot of carrots. This is the purple ones, I think. I cleverly wrote my labels in purple pen, which faded in the sun, so I now don't know which ones are which, but I'll find out as soon as it's time to pull them anyway. Around about the edges of this, I've put in spring onions as well. I didn't have enough to go around, but it'll be fine. Beside the garlic is turnips, but this netting, I've put it on today. I'm going to need to hang some netting over this because there was 2 full rows of turnips. 1 row there and then the other row there. And as you can see, there's a lot of gaps because something came in and was scoffing on them. You see how chewed up they are. So I'm going to have to re-sow and actually make sure I protect them this time. Here is my onions growing away nicely. All higgledy-piggledy. I have tried to water everything as often as possible to try and prevent stuff going to seed, because it is onion sets, and because we've not had rain for almost 2 months. Last night was our first rain in almost 2 months, so everything's been bone dry. And quite bad with drought in this area at the moment, so just trying to keep on top of watering. In the centre there is my beetroot that I sowed in the drain pipes at the same time as the peas. I thinned out that end, and the stuff that I thinned out I shoved into my salad, which was really nice. I just need to thin out that section as well, but I don't want to do it until I can shove it into a salad. So it'll be either tonight or tomorrow that I'll eat them. And then the rest of it I have sown some more. There's only a few of them have come up that end really well, but here not an awful lot. So I might sow some more. At the back there I've got the Brussels sprouts. Something's had a good chew of that one. I do know that a lot of people have brassica beds and they cover them up with netting and stuff. I don't really have access to netting like that. I have looked. The only thing that I could find in the local garden centre was fleece. and not the nice nets that I've seen a lot of the allotment owners in the UK using. So I don't really know what to do. Take you back to the other side of the garden. Over here, my purple pots finally have dahlias in them. I don't know what varieties these are because it was a mixed bag of 5 tubers. So it'll be fun to see what colour the flowers are. Here I've got 3 tomato plants. These were plants that I didn't have space for in the greenhouse. The subarctic plenty, this one actually has flowers coming. You can see them right there. And then this one beside it, which I'm not sure which variety is. I think it might be the Romantica one, the red cherry tomatoes, also has flowers. And then at the back there is one of the Chocomato ones, but it's still just a baby. This is a 30-litre pot, so I'm hoping it should be big enough for them. It's my herb bed. Plenty of stuff on the go. Dill at the back there. Dill in the centre there. I do have some more lettuce in here as well, but this one isn't doing as well. I don't know if it's maybe getting into a fight with the rest of the stuff in here. This is my little herb garden. And this over here is exciting side. This is where my potatoes are. The back there are King Edwards. So the back 2 rows. At the front here, I've potted up the yellow cherry tomatoes. Didn't have space for them in my greenhouse. So I've put them into pots. If really bad weather comes, I'm going to have to put them inside. But at the moment, there's no mention of frost. We've had days that have been... Today was actually a pleasant day. Today the highest temperature we got was 16 degrees. There's no risk for night frosts at the moment. All of this row at the front are the yellow cherry tomatoes. Over here I've got the Highland Burgundy. And then at the front here I've got more of the cherry tomatoes. These are the Romantica ones. So lesson for next year is probably don't sow as much things as I have. I think I sowed too many the second time round because I was I'd learnt my lesson the first time round that I could quite easily kill stuff by not taking care of it, so I probably sowed too much. Here I've got another dahlia plant. In planters by the house, I've got my very first Ruby Ann flower, pink. These are the strawberry plants. I've got 3 of the Ruby Ann. And over here I have the Mara de Bois. These are far more prolific than the Ruby Ann, but they get normal white flowers. Here I've got my clematis, and it's currently climbing like crazy. Up here I've got a hanging basket of nasturtiums. Over here my red currant bush is doing really well. I've got fruit coming up on it already. I've got another one of those globe thistles here behind the cat. These are my dwarf beans called Purple Queen. The back there I've got blackcurrant bush, also starting to show fruit. Find some there. But it's a way away off of being ripe. Here's where I've put my sunflower. The front 4 there is the sunrise variety, and the 4 at the back are the giant variety. I'm just waiting for them to take off. Around this side I've got more nasturtiums standing in front of the ferns. And then on the corner here, I've got some of the cotton flowers behind the cat right now. I do have 2 other patches where I've got flowers. I'll post pictures in here. Because they're around the other side of the greenhouse and there's people actually standing there chatting, so I don't want to be in the way for them. One of these cotton flowers is actually going to come in. You're in the way of the flower. This cotton flower here looks like it's about ready to open up and flower. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye. Hi guys, I signed off and then came out and dug down that drip watering hose in the greenhouse, and I thought you guys might like to see. So it's completely invisible now. Dug it down all the way around. The only sign of it here is the feeder that you attach the mains hose pipe to. I tried out the hose pipe last night and it was actually spraying a bit from the top, which was spraying onto the tomato plant leaves, and it kind of defeats the purpose of the drip watering. Anyway, that's me for today. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye. Meg, shh, be quiet for a second. So noisy.